For the vast majority of people looking at moving to Idaho, it really comes down to just two choices. It's either going to be the Coeur d'Alene, North Idaho area, or the Boise metropolitan area. And for the longest time, I thought this is a no-brainer. If you're moving to Idaho, of course you're going to choose the mountains, the lakes, rivers, and wildlife. Why would you move to a city? But on my recent visit to Boise, it really hit me why so many people choose to move to Boise over North Idaho. And so in this video, I'm going to go through all of those reasons, all of the observations and my experiences of being down there. And so hopefully by the end of it, you can decide if Boise is going to be the right place for you or Coeur d'Alene. Let's go. Hey guys, welcome to another episode of Living Life in North Idaho. My name is Trent, and on this channel, we talk about what it's like living, eating, working, playing, and buying real estate here in Idaho. So if that's of interest to you, tap the subscribe button, hit that notification bell, so every time I come out with a new video, you get notified. And guys, I want to say, this year, I really thought we were going to be slowing down. I thought that I wasn't going to be getting as many views or subscribers, and we weren't going to have as many people reaching out to us, but that has not been the case at all. Every single day, I have someone just like you has been watching these videos. They need a little bit more information about what it's like living here, or they've decided Idaho is the right place for them and they just need someone to help get them moved here. We absolutely love it. That's why my team and I are here. So if this is you and you're serious about getting moved to Idaho, reach out to us at the phone number or email address listed below. You can also check out my website if you're wanting to see what kind of homes are available in the area. We absolutely love us. Call us day, nights, weekends. It does not matter. We love helping people get moved to this area. All right, guys, so let's jump in. Like I said, I had a recent trip down to Boise. Now, I got to clarify, I did not just stay in Boise. I actually went down to Boise, stayed there. Then I went up into the Sawtooth Mountains. I camped there. I'll tell you guys a little bit about that. And then I came back and spent some more time in Boise. And so I actually felt like I really got the Boise experience by doing that. And that's what really inspired me to make this video, because it really hit me. Why are so many people, especially from California, why are so many Californians moving to Boise? So let's start with the first one. And this one might seem like not a big deal because maybe you've never experienced it, but it has been a headache for me for a long time. So in North Idaho, we have one Home Depot, we have one Costco, we have one Target, we have no Apple stores. And so if there's something that I want and they don't have it, I have to drive all the way over to Spokane, which is not a fun drive when you don't need very many things just to get a couple of items. We're down in Boise, there are multiple Costcos. Now, not just in Boise, the Boise area, I should say. There's multiple Costcos, there's multiple Targets, Sephora's, Apple Store, there's an airport. Like, it's a real city. And so when it comes to convenience and it comes to getting things that you need, I really feel like it's a lot easier in the Boise area. Now, they might disagree because they don't know. When you go to Costco and you go, crap, they're out of what I want. There's no close options. You have to drive really far away, and it's not a lot of fun. So I know that might seem small, but for those people who have been living in a city, they probably think about this and they're like, oh, there's not a lot of options in North Idaho. I think that's one of the reasons Boise does look a lot more attractive. So another observation that I made while I was in Boise and talking to my best friend who lives down there, Boise is a much more livable city than North Idaho. And the reason is because it's much more flat, the weather is a lot more moderate, and you have better transportation, sidewalks, things of that nature. You can bike around. Where in North Idaho, it's not very good public transportation. We have some, but it's not very good. I don't know anybody who actually uses it. You have to have a car to get to wherever you're going. The winters can be really treacherous, so you gotta have all-wheel drive or four-wheel drive. I mean, at the minimum, front-wheel drive and have chains because you're probably going to get stuck. It's just a lot more difficult to get around you. You have to be able to drive to where you're getting going, and sometimes the weather can get so extreme here that there are closures. Sometimes you can't get to where you need to go. For elderly people that might need to go to the hospital all of a sudden, that can be a little bit tricky. Now, I will say it's very rare for roads to get shut down, but we always seem to have maybe a day or two where that happens per year. You just don't want to be in a position where, oh no, something just happened to me and I need to go to the hospital and I can't. So I did notice that. And even though you are in a city metropolitan area, you have really, really good hunting, hiking, camping within an hour or two. So if that's something you're still wanting, but you still want the city, can be a really good option compared to North Idaho. So another thing that I noticed, and like I said, I didn't stay in Boise the whole time. I did go up to the Sawtooths. I noticed that yes, Boise is very much so a city, especially compared to the Coeur d'Alene area, but you are within an hour or two of some of the most epic camping, whitewater rafting, fishing, hunting, all within about 2 hours. So this is much more similar to California, where you can live in the city and then go up to Mammoth, go up to Tahoe, and have an amazing weekend, beautiful lakes, beautiful mountains, really get out in nature, and then go back to your life in the city. I think most people, especially those who've never fully experienced the outdoors, wilderness, and all of the risk that comes with that, this seems much more appealing. They are outdoorsmen, outdoors people, they're people that like to go outdoors, let's just say that. And they love to camp and they love to hike, but that's not their life. That is their hobby. That's the thing that they like to go and do. And it's within a drive. They can take a weekend and go achieve that. Where North Idaho, I find that people that really love the outdoors, that really love lakes, they just love the adventure of living in the wilderness, this is definitely the spot to be. It doesn't get much better because literally 15 minutes, you're in the mountains, you're amongst wildlife. Like, it's really, really awesome. But for most people that are just trying to get away from the things going on in their state, Boise is a much more attractive option in that sense. And I did learn, and I will apologize for this, in past videos, I've really touted how amazing the wilderness and wildlife is in North Idaho. And don't get me wrong, it's amazing. But what I will say is it's only 2 hours across the panhandle from basically Spokane to Montana. It's about 2 hours. It's about 2 hours from Coeur d'Alene to the Canadian border. So you don't have that much space for that much wilderness. Now, I think it's plenty because our population's quite a bit smaller, but in the Boise area, you can go in multiple directions and it is just hundreds of miles of amazing wilderness. In fact, some of it is so amazing, I'm not even gonna go into too much detail where it's at, how to get there, because I want it to stay amazing. It's where I go once a year with my buddies to just, this might sound funny, but refresh my soul, to remember that I'm a human being that has likes, interests, hobbies, and love and forgiveness, and not just someone who just needs to work to provide for his family. It's really, really awesome. And North Idaho, of course, has that, but I think there is quite a bit more around the Boise area. You just have further to drive to get there. And one thing that I really know to be true, because I've researched in the past, and it's very evident when you're down in that area, there are so many more job opportunities in the Boise and surrounding areas than there are in North Idaho. It's tough to get a really good paying job here in North Idaho. I've mentioned it before that this place is really good for people who, yes, they have degrees, they're running their own business, they're retired, independently wealthy. It's just really tough if you're just not very well educated and just trying to make a living. It's a big problem that they're trying to solve. I don't know if there is a solution right now, but the Boise area, there are so many more businesses down there, so many more restaurants. You've got skyscrapers, for crying out loud. We don't really have that here in North Idaho. So for those people that are moving, the average age is about 37 and a half years old in Boise. That is going to be much more attractive. So it's very clear in terms of the job opportunities why people choose Boise over Coeur d'Alene. Now, I have mentioned in a lot of other videos talking about how good the fishing is here and the hunting. But the truth is, there is world class salmon fishing down in the Salmon River by Boise. There are the Class 5 rapids, the longest stretch classified rapids, I believe, in the United States and maybe even the world. I'll have to check. But there are people that travel all over the world to do this stretch of rapids. And yeah, there are people that die every single year because it is so extreme. So for the people that really want that adventure, you have that. And the salmon, it's amazing in the Salmon River. I have never been down there for the salmon run, but I have seen videos and heard stories, and I really hope to make that happen one day. And then the elk, it is world-class elk hunting. The elk down there get much bigger racks. And so for the trophy hunter or for people who just love the thrill of seeing these really big bull elk, Boise really does take the cake, the surrounding area. Again, it's a further drive. You're driving 2 hours, 3 hours to get to where you need to go. But for somebody who wants to be able to have a good job, easier way of life, and still be able to go have that record bull hunt or awesome salmon fishing or whitewater rafting, Boise takes the cake. And real quick, guys, I'm sure you're thinking, Trent, this is the Living Life in North Idaho channel, and I'm looking at moving to Boise. Why would I call you? You're not going to work with me. I totally understand, but I will say I have 2 really awesome partners in the Boise area that I've gotten really good feedback on. When it comes to buying a property, it is not like buying anything else. There's no other salesperson you're going to work with for over a month to make a transaction happen or at the amount of money that you'll be spending to get that property. So I always suggest make sure that you like your realtor, you can trust your realtor, and you can communicate really well with them. And for me, I personally interview the agents, so you should have no question that I am picking the highest quality agents possible. And for you, it's really no risk because all it is just an introduction. If you don't like them, you don't have to work with them. But if you do work with them, it really goes far to help me and my team and support this channel. So just reach out to us anytime and we can get you connected, whether you're wanting to be in Boise, Idaho Falls, Twin Falls, Lewiston, or North Idaho. We can help you wherever you're looking. We love helping people get moved to this state. Now, another reason people choose Boise over Coeur d'Alene, Boise is much more moderate in their politics. For the people that are moving away from their cities and their states because it's just gotten totally destroyed, but maybe they don't think that it's politics. Maybe they just think this is what happens in cities. They don't necessarily want to come to a place that's really conservative, that's really intense about their politics. They just want to live in a clean, safe city and not spend $1 million for an apartment. And so Boise oftentimes is much more attractive for those people. And as most of you know, North Idaho does come with a little bit of a stereotype. We are known as conspiracy theorists, as anti-government and racist. Now, one of those things is kind of true, but the others aren't. And at this point, do you even add theorists to the end? There's just a lot of conspiracies happening right now. It's kind of crazy. No, we're not anti-government. I've said before, we are anti-corruption. And no, we are not racist. Yes, racism did exist. There was hate groups here a long time ago, but they've been gone quite some time. But nevertheless, there's a stereotype, right? People in different states will go, oh, you guys are racist. Oh, you're huge Trump supporters. And some people just don't want to be attached to that. They don't want to call their mom, hear what a disappointment they are. So moving to Boise, much less of a stereotype down there, more of a city. I do think that ultimately is part of the decision-making when they're looking at Coeur d'Alene and Boise. And for people that are used to the cities, used to sports teams and comedy clubs and entertainment things to do, Coeur d'Alene is not a very attractive option. We just don't have a lot of that stuff up here, but Boise definitely does. In fact, they had a brand new Top Golf. I didn't get to go play. I wish I could have. But yeah, beautiful facility. They have a lot more restaurants, comedy clubs. There's just a lot more things to do. They have Boise State University, so they can go watch their Broncos play. There's a lot more to do. And so when you're leaving a state, I mean, you don't want to step into something totally different and then have to, find entertainment through getting an ice water. I don't know, whatever, their thing is. But yeah, that is a big factor that gets people to choose Boise over Coeur d'Alene. And the Boise demographics are quite a bit different than Coeur d'Alene, where Boise, it's about 80% Caucasian and In North Idaho, Coeur d'Alene area, you've got 94.4%. So for anybody who is not Caucasian or thinks that diversity is really, really important, Boise is a more attractive option. I mean, I have it. It bums me out. People will call me and go, hey, my wife is Nigerian. Like, are we going to be okay in North Idaho? Well, of course you are, but you can only move to where you're going to be comfortable. And so if it does come down to, do we want to risk it? I think that causes a lot of people to choose the Boise area over Coeur d'Alene. So those are the things that I learned and observed about the Boise area compared to Coeur d'Alene, but there are some things that you need to consider because I might have just totally sold you on Boise, but let me remind you where there are more people living, almost 900,000 down there in the Treasure Valley area now, you have a lot more traffic. Just to get back from the Sawtooth Mountains, we had to sit in traffic for about an hour and a half just at this one intersection because there were so many cars. So very similar to Tahoe where, yep, you can make it up there, but you are going to have lines, you're going to be around more people, and then getting back, you are spending a good chunk of your Sunday to get back home, and then you got to get going again. So I want to remind people of that because I always look at moving to Idaho as a way to really enhance and change your life. And if getting back into that rat race is part of the equation for you, then Boise is a great option. But for those people who don't love that traffic, North Idaho is much better. Another thing to consider that it's not totally different, there is constant road construction in the Boise area. Now, yes, we do have a lot of road construction here, but you can also get outside of town and not have to deal with it. Where down in the Boise area, I felt like there was road construction everywhere. I mean, even heading up into the mountains, there was road construction. So just know, you're lots of nature, lots of beauty. Yes, it's a city and you are going to have to deal with the road construction a lot. And down in Boise, it is mostly desert all around the Boise area. You do have to go, like I said, an hour to 2 hours to get outside of that deserty area. It's not very pretty. Now you do have the green belt that goes through the Treasure Valley area. It's about 25 miles long of just greenery, parks, walkways, river. It's really, really gorgeous. But yes, right outside of the Boise area, it is desert and it is not very attractive. Another thing to consider, which we've already kind of covered, but you don't really have access to very much water, mountains, or anything like that down in Boise. You do have to drive that hour or 2 hours. So it's kind of tough, if you don't have a lot of time and you want to get out there, you got to try to make it work. Where in North Idaho, I mean, shoot, I just went dirt biking with my son and it was literally a 20-minute drive. And within an hour, we're on top of a mountain. I mean, it's just epic. And that's Coeur d'Alene. And guess what? I only saw a few people out there on that mountain, and it's one of the closest mountains to us, Canfield Mountain. And so it really, really is different in terms of what is available at your fingertips versus what you have to travel for. And similar to Coeur d'Alene, the wages do not really match up with the cost of living. In Boise, a career person, like somebody in the middle of their career, is usually only making about $70,000 to $80,000. And with home prices being an average of $560,000, that does make it kind of tight every single month. So still need to make improvements on that area, but something you need to consider if you really are looking at Boise as well as Coeur d'Alene. I would say the closest city to compare Boise to would be Denver. I have a sister that lives in Denver. I go and visit her, and it really feels like Denver 10 to 15 years ago. Hopefully it doesn't go in the same direction in terms of the homelessness and crime rate and some of the things that Denver's dealing with. But other than that stuff, I mean, Denver is a very, very beautiful city, and it is a drive. It is quite a drive to get into the mountains and the lakes, but very, very similar. So if you're trying to imagine through everything I'm showing you and telling you, if you've ever been to Denver, it's pretty similar. And the last thing to cover is the Boise area is a very dry climate. They do get more sun. They only get about 12 inches of rain a year. Coeur d'Alene, the surrounding area, gets double that. So we do have more gray skies. We do have more weather. We do have stronger winters, similar summers, but those are factors that you really need to consider when looking at both areas. So I really hope this video helped you guys. I try to give as much information as I can about what I experienced and and what I saw and what I learned and compared the two. And hopefully after watching this, you can decide which area is going to be right for you. If you like this video, give me a thumbs up. Leave me a comment in the comment section letting me know which area you think would be best for you to be in. And if you're still undecided, you know who to get a hold of. Till the next video, guys, I will see you later.